Good morning to all. So screen share ஆகுதா? யாராவது ஆன்சர் பண்ண screen share ஆகுதா?
Sir.
Okay. So we will start our fifth unit. So we have completed 4 units. So we have only 1 unit left to be completed. And the last unit deals with the design of bearings and flywheel. So as you all know, whenever we have a rotating member, it should be supported with reference to the base. So for having that kind of support, one element should be of stationary and another element should be of a rotating one. So for example, if you take a shaft, the shaft needs to be rotated, but it should be supported on certain references or certain bases. Okay, so in order to have such kind of a relation, so you have an element called bearing. And so as you all know, so in IC engine you have a different strokes, so like power stroke, suction stroke, exhaust stroke, so like that. So you have a two stroke as well as four stroke engines. So you all know that in all four strokes we will not be getting power, so we'll getting power only at the one stroke. So that is in the power stroke you'll be getting power, but the remaining three strokes will not have the power production. So in order to distribute the power generated during the power stroke, so you need to have certain element to balance that power to the other remaining strokes. So one of that element is called flywheel. So flywheel stores the energy by means of rotation. So the energy stored by the flywheel is nothing but kinetic energy. So whenever you have energy due to the motion of certain thing, you have kinetic energy. So whenever you have a energy due to stationary position, so it is called a stationary energy. Okay, or simply with respect to difference, height difference. So the energy possessed by certain bodies are called as potential energy. Okay, so you have two kind of energies. One is potential energy, another one is kinetic energy. So the flywheel stores the energy in the form of rotation. That means velocity. Okay. So during power stroke, it will obtain more velocity. During the other strokes, it will lose its velocity, so that releasing its energy to that requirement. Okay. So these are all the fundamentals of bearings and flywheel. Okay. So bearing has the application in all the places. So like IC engine, turbines, and like in our home utensils such as fans and all. Wherever you have a moving element, then you need to have bearing. So it may be of small in size or it may be of bigger in size. Like in turbines and all, you have bigger bearings, whereas in the small applications like toys and all, so you have a tinny bearings as well. Okay, so it to the bearing, so it reads like this. So it is a stationary machine element which supports rotating shafts, axles, and confines their motion. So like our in wheels and all, no, in heavy vehicles you have a wheels and all. So there the shaft rotates the wheel from the power available in the engine. So the shaft needs to rotate. So that rotation is confined by the bearing. Okay. So general requirement of the bearing is to have minimum frictional resistance, so that it losses the torque in a minimum way. Okay. So the power loss is also minimum. So in order to have such a kind of the frictional less frictional resistance, sometimes a small amount of fluid is also applied like lubricant and all. Okay. And the bearings can be classified into different way. So one of that way is to based on the type of load acting on the shaft, how the load is acting on the shaft makes certain classification. So like when the load is acting in a radial direction, that is when the load is perpendicular to the shaft or rotating member, then this bearing is classified under radial bearing. So since it supports the radial load, so it is called as a radial bearing. So in some cases, the load may be acting along the axis. Let me draw. So here the load is perpendicular to the axis. So that is why it is called as a radial bearing. So when it comes to thrust bearing, so instead of acting load acting perpendicular to the axis, so it will be acting along the axis or parallel to the axis. So that is what called thrust bearing. Okay. So there is a next category. So here you have a soft element, you have a bearing element, the load is acting in this direction. So this is called as a thrust bearing. When the load acts in a radial direction, it is called radial bearing. When the load acts in a parallel direction or along the axis, then it is called as a thrust bearing. And the next classification is based on the nature of contact. How the rotating element and stationary element are having contact with each other. Based on it is classified as sliding contact bearing and rolling contact bearing. So these rolling contact bearings may be called as an anti-friction bearing because the friction compared with the sliding contact bearing is very minimum. Okay. So that is why these rolling bearings are called as anti-frictional bearings. So based on the nature of contact, it may be sliding contact or rolling contact. So this is the case of sliding contact bearing. Say if you take turbines and all in power plant machinery, you have an element called turbine. So that needs to support a heavier load. So if you look at the turbines such as Pelton wheel, Kaplan turbine, so these are all used in hydraulic turbine category. Okay, so in steam turbine category also you have heavy rotating element. So once the power generation is started, so the overhauling will be done only after a year or after a 6 month. So for a period of 6 month or 1 year, it has to rotate continuously. So to have such kind of relation, so the sliding contact bearings are better candidate than the rolling contact bearings. So because in sliding contact bearing, the rotating element and stationary element is separated by means of a thin film of oil filled into the gap between the two thing. Okay. So for heavy applications, so you have the only one choice, that is called sliding contact bearing. So as the name indicates, so the contact between the rolling and stationary elements are sliding in nature. Whereas in the second category, it is by means of a point contact. So in between the stationary and rotating element, you have balls. Balls will have the point contact with the both the thing. Okay. So this classification is based on the nature of contact. And so under the type of rolling contact bearing, based on the rolling element, so it may be further classified, and also based on the load to be carried, so it is further classified. Okay. So if you take the type of rolling element, so the inner element may be ball or roller. So if it is a ball, then it is called as a ball bearing. If it is roller, then it is called as a roller bearing. Okay. And as in the previous case, so depending upon the load to be carried, it may be called as a radial bearing, angular contact bearing, or thrust bearing. Okay, so this classification is based on the nature of load acting on it. And the various components of rolling contact bearings are shown here. So you have a outer race, this one is outer race, and you have a solder, and you have a ball or roller. So ball or roller, this is the thing, ball or roller, and this is the inner race. Okay. And to separate the various balls, so you may use a separator or cage element. So this side will be having contact with the shaft, and this side will have contact with the bases, or say such as pedestal and all. So there it is to be held in position. Okay, these are all the components of ball bearing, and I have also given you the shared this data book page number in your WhatsApp group. You can take that also. Before that, let me send to you the PPT of this thing so that you can refer and follow with me. அவ்வளோ தூரமா may I have shared this fifth unit in your WhatsApp group. You can take that and you can follow with me. Okay, complete PPT I have shared for your reference. You can make use of it and you can follow using that also. Okay, and the data book page that is also I have shared with you, and you can get or you can make use of it. So I will be also sharing along the sides when it requires. So I will be also sharing. Okay, let us continue. So I think in your WhatsApp group you have received that PPT or fifth unit PPT. So from that only I am taking. So you can refer that also. Okay, and depending upon the various nature, it is once again classified. Okay, so to have this complete classification, so I have shared the data book page starting from 4.1. So this you can see. I think you are able to see the screen. So this is the classification. This is available in the data book itself from the page number 4.1. So ball and roller bearings. So these are all the classification and where it can be applied, that is also given, and the cross sectional figure of the respective bearings is also shown on the sides. Okay. So for example, if you take the first bearing, it is a deep groove ball bearing and it can carry considerable thrust load apart from radial load. So it is used for high speed applications. Okay. That type of type and figure is shown here. Okay, and if you take a self-aligning ball bearing, so it is having the capacity to misalign minor angular displacements of the shaft, so that will not affect in a much a thing. So these are all the various types of bearings and its respective applications and its some views of the bearings as well. Okay, so and in the page number 4.2, maybe screen தெரியுது இல்லையா? யாராவது ஆன்சர் பண்ண ஸ்கிரீன் தெரியுதா இல்லையா? ஏன்னா எனக்கு இங்க ஒரு
No,
மாதிரி
sir.
என்னப்பா?
எனக்கு இங்க ஒரு மாதிரி தான் சொல்லுது.
Multiple screens ஆட்டம் தெரியுது சார்.
ஆமா. இப்போ கரெக்டாக தெரியுதா? இப்போ கரெக்டாக இருக்காப்பா?
sir.
Okay. So as I told, I have also shared the PPT of fifth unit. So you can make use of that also. Okay. Okay. And this figure is also available in the data book page number 4.1. Deep groove ball bearing, self-aligning ball bearing, self-aligning internal ball bearing, external ball bearing, angular contact ball bearing, filling notch type bearing, counter bore type bearing, double row deep groove ball bearing, double row filling notch bearing, like that. So these are all certain fundamentals about the classification of bearings. So next comes the Okay, so I cannot be able to share the various multi-screen. So I am sharing only the PPT screen. So for data book and some other thing, so you need to refer your screen. Okay, so it is not possible for me to share all the screen because it is getting echoed. Okay, and the life of the bearing with respect to million revolution is determined using this relation. So this relation is also available in the data book. Okay, so if you take page number 4 from 4.1, so you have all the relevant data for bearing. Okay, so here L is the required life of the bearing in million revolutions. L10 dash is the calculated life of the selected bearing for a given load for 90% survival. P is the probability of survival. So because you have a n number of bearings, say you have 100 bearing manufactured in the same way, but the life of that 100 bearing will not be same as uh, 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 next one always for all bearings. Okay, so in order to find uh, the proper life of the bearing, the probability of survival is taken into account. Okay, so all bearings are assumed to be survived for 90 percentage of its life. Okay, so though you have designed it for 100 percentage, so it is assumed that it is surviving for a 90 percentage of its duration, either it may be in hours or in million revolutions. Okay, so in this relation, so B is the constant and it is taken as the 1.17 for median life of this 5L10, and 1.34 is for a median life of this one, and this is only taken for a deep groove ball bearing. So these relations are available in the data book itself. You need not worry about that. Let me also show you the page where it is available. Okay, and the load may be static or dynamic. So static in the sense it is the uh, condition where the bearing is not rotating. So dynamic is the condition where the bearing is rotating for a particular period of time in a particular RPM. Okay, so since you have a various loads such as axial load and radial load, so the bearing is not subjected to act only on one bearing. So during the application of load, the load may be either radial in nature or axial in nature. So in order to find the equivalent bearing load, so you should use this relation. So this relation gives you the effect of radial load and effect of axial load on the bearing. Okay, so X is the radial factor, Y is the thrust factor, and S is the service factor. So if you have only one radial load, then Y will be 0. If you have only axial load, then X will be 0. So this factor will relate the load and its magnitude. Okay, so from page number 4.4 and 4.2, so this relation and the factors can be obtained. Okay, and you have a load life relationship. Okay, so if you take the dynamic load carrying capacity as C and equivalent dynamic load P, then the bearing life may be termed in this way. These are all the experimental relations. So life of the bearing L is equal to C by P power B. Okay, and this B may be 3 for ball bearing, 10 by 3 for roller bearing. So this relation is also available in the page number 4.6 and 4.7. Okay, and the next relation is the since we cannot have what do you call the number of revolution as a definite one, so all bearings are expected to be uh, rotating up to say 1 million revolution. Okay, 1 million revolution in the sense say 10 lakh cycles. So in terms of 10 lakh cycles, the life of the bearing is term, defined in this way. Okay, so the relationship between the life in million revolution and life in working hours is given by this one. Okay, So the bearing life in hours is LH and N is the speed in RPM. So here they have mentioned it as a small n. Okay. So for example, the life of the bearing may be uh, for say 10 RPM thing and for 10 hours thing. So you may find the life of the bearing in terms of million revolutions. Okay. In terms of million revolution, you can find the life of the bearing. Okay, so let us move to the problem. So it is a simple problem. So let me read it, and you can also follow the PPT sent to you. Afterwards, you can get practice in this. Okay, so we need to complete our syllabus within the next week. Okay, so we have to rush up this fourth unit. So we have delayed in the previous units. Okay, so this is the problem. If a ball bearing is subjected to a radial load of 10 kilonewton and expected life for 90 percentage of the bearing is 6000 hours, calculate the dynamic load carrying capacity of the bearing when the shaft rotates at 1250 rpm. If a ball bearing is subjected if a ball bearing is subjected to a radial load of 10 kilonewton, there is only radial load, and expected life for 90 percentage of the bearing is 6000 hour. Calculate the dynamic load carrying capacity of the bearing when the shaft rotates at 1250 rpm. So as in the previous cases, you look for a numerical value 10 kilonewton, 90 percentage of the survival is 6000 hours, so 1250 rpm. So here the radial load is 10 kilonewton, that is 10,000 newton. Life in hours is 6000 hour, speed is 1250 rpm. So our objective is to find the dynamic load carrying capacity. Okay, and we know that from the previous relation, life of the bearing in million revolution is this one. So 60, speed is 1250 rpm, life in hours is 6000. So 10 by 10 power 6 is for converting into million revolution. So the life of the bearing in terms of million revolution from this thing. So the bearing is rotating at the speed of 1250 rpm, and it is expected to run for 6000 hours. Okay, so in terms of million revolution, it is 450 million revolution. So that is what we have converted here. Okay, so we have determined the life in million revolution. So next, so from page number 4.6, so this relation is available. Okay, from this equation you can find C. So to have this equation, So let me show you the data book. அந்த screen மாறினா இது கட் ஆயிடுது. So I think this screen is shared with you. So this is the data book page. Okay. And for ball and roller bearings, you have the various equation. So as I told, you have the equivalent load equation, and you have the dynamic capacity equation, and here, so you have this equation, that is C equal to L by L10 power 1 by K into P. Okay. So after rearranging this, so you will have certain equation. Okay. As of now, let us have this equation. Okay. Okay. So this is the relation available in the data book, and that has been changed like this. So this is available in data book. This has been rearranged like this to get your C value, or you can use this relation as such. That is up to you. Okay. And you have L and life in hours, life in million hours, and you have the P load, axial load, sorry, radial load acting, and 1 by K is the factor. So for ball bearing it is 3, for roller bearing it is 10 by 3. Okay. So since it is a ball bearing relation, so you can substitute all those things and you can get the dynamic load capacity C as 76,630.9 Newton. Okay. So now from page 4.6, you may also have this ratio, that is C by P ratio. So that is coming as 7.61. Okay. So that page, let me once again shift. 4.6. So you need to find the CP value here. So to find the CP value, so you need to have the RPM as well as life in hours. So as far as our problem is concerned, the life is 400 hours and RPM is 10,000 RPM. So it meets here, say for example, it is around 3.11 or 2.88. Okay. So this is the C by P ratio. So they have used no correct. So here the hours is different. So 6,000 hour 1,250 RPM. So I have wrongly made it. Hours is 6,000 hours. So 6,000 hours. RPM is 1,250. So around it will fall in this zone, that is 7.81 or greater than that. So by interpolation they have taken it as a 7.61. Okay. So now you find the dynamic capacity with respect to the given load. Okay. So 7.61 into P, so you will have 7,600 and sorry 76,100 Newton. Okay. And this is the capacity of this bearing. So for this speed and for this life, so the dynamic load capacity will be this much. Okay. But uh, so among when compared with this induced value or rated value, our calculated value is greater. So the design is safe. So what we calculated is correct one. So here they are asking only us to find the dynamic load capacity, that is 76,630 Newton. So this is a big mark question. It is also very easy. Okay. It is very easy to solve also. The roll number 87 and 88 absent. 87, 88 absent. Roll number 95 absent. 98 absent. 106 option. One 13 option. Two 43 and 244. Done. I mean the less than 80 attendance எல்லாம் வந்து கொஞ்சம் கேர்ஃபுல்லா இருங்க. So I think you will not be allowed to write the exam. So please attend without fail. Okay. So this is a simple problem and it is a big mark question also. So the rolling bearing problems are very simple. So just you have to select from the available bearing and then you should check either it is a safe one or not. Okay. Okay, we'll continue in the next class. You can leave.